That's true, Stephen. So we are at Ward 40 in Mamelodi East. This is where about 7,000 people are registered to vote. And 8 hours after the polling stations opened their doors, only less than 1,000 of them have showed up to vote. This particular voting station is said to be the largest in this region. And I just want to quickly go inside one of the voting rooms. I'm going to ask my colleague Njabulo Kele to follow me. You'll see that some of the IEC officials are right now, sitting idle, waiting for would-be voters to show up. So far, they've only been coming in sporadically to cast their ballots, with each session only taking them a couple of minutes, really. This is in stark contrast, I must point out, to what we witnessed in Centurion earlier on. Ward 65, to be specific, where hundreds of people at once were queuing, in snaking lines, patiently waiting to cast their votes and determine the future of their city for the next 5 years. I must point out, though, that, dynamics in these two areas vastly different. Obviously, Centurion, a more affluent part of the city of Tshwane, and their experience of service delivery not quite as daunting as that of residents of Mamelodi. By any stretch of the imagination. Regularly residents in this part of Pretoria protest for issues such as housing, poor maintenance to infrastructure, inadequate water and electricity supply, among other issues. So the bigger question now becomes, has this compounded their lack of enthusiasm in participating in this democratic process of voting, in the local government elections? So, this is one of the highly contested metros in the whole of South Africa. And right now, it remains anyone's guess what its future will be. Will there be an outright majority winner, really? Or is the city going to be condemned to yet another 5 years of a coalition government? So, there is no telling, but I guess we shall find out soon. Hey, Stephen.
And Tondani, it looks very quiet. Everybody, I don't know, are they just being well behaved because you're doing your crossing? Are they being quiet because of your crossing? Or is there some kind of vibe there this afternoon?
Well, we've been here for the best part of 2 hours now. This is how it has largely been. So IEC officials have, been waiting for anybody really who comes into the voting station. Like I mentioned, they've been coming in only very sporadically. So, 5 rooms are open, voting rooms are open here, but only one is being utilized because you'll have only about 2 or 3 people coming in to cast their ballots at a go. So quite, I suppose, for political parties, it will be a dumb squib, really. Their expectations had been that they would be given a clear mandate to govern the city. But I don't suppose, the turnout of voters is what anybody would have expected. So who is to, be given the mandate to govern the city is something that you'll realize that not too long ago, the ANC Deputy President, David Mavuza, was in Mamelodi, where party supporters and members alike expressed their dissatisfaction with some of the processes they used to select candidates for who would be councillors in this region. And some of them said very emphatically that they would not be voting because of that. So, it's also one of those aspects to this whole political dynamic here in this part of this region to consider. Are these people withholding their votes, rather, as a retaliation, really, to what has been happening within their party? All in all, really, very, very low numbers to, what had been expected, and in comparison to the numbers of people who have registered to vote altogether.
Tondani Takalani live this afternoon from Mamelodi. Thanks very much indeed.